journey, where we share our stories about how we overcame past trauma and where we are now. Welcome to the Queens Talk, Queens. From Brown Girls Embrace. And tonight we're doing something a little bit different tonight. We're going to have a panel discussion. So let me go ahead and bring some ladies on into the room. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me tonight. So all of you ladies are health coaches, and I wanted to discuss from healing to a health coach because we all have our own story to tell, whether it's a trauma story or it's a health story. So one by one, I don't know who wants to go first, but one by one, who wants to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what kind of health coach are you?
Don't all jump at once.
I know,
Jeez,
right?
y'all.
I'm
I'll go. Go ahead, Jess.
I'm Jessica Mitchell, and I'm a certified health and lifestyle coach, and I am coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice, 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 nice. Thank you for coming tonight. I know it's a little later than we expected, but thank you for joining us, Jessica. Anybody else wanna go?
Hey, y'all. I'm Andy Byers. I am in Virginia. I'm Virginia based. I am a registered nurse and holistic wellness practitioner with a focus in holistic nutrition and stress management.
Nice, nice, nice. And last but not least, Jacqueline.
All right. Hello, hello. I am Jacqueline Lovett. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, and I'm also a Zumba dance fitness instructor as well as a natural hair health educator. And I am coming live from the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Nice. Thanks for having me. And your hair looks beautiful, by the way. I just want to tell you, it looks like it's grown from the pictures that I saw. I just
Thank
love
you.
natural hair. Anyway, everybody, you're welcome. Everybody has a story to tell, like I said before. And everybody's a coach for a specific reason. So it doesn't matter who goes first, but can somebody share why they decided to be their particular coach? The particular
I'll share.
you are. I'm gonna just start calling people, and then if people can go.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll go then.
Okay.
So I was actually in insurance and banking for some years, and at the same time, though, I'm struggling with my weight back and forth, and I also wanted to have a baby. So after trying many diets, I decided to go the route of a health coach. And I remember meeting with her a couple of times. I was a little skeptical. I had not heard of a health coach before. This was back in 2004. And I asked her, well, what's going to make this any different for me? And she said, well, having a coach is about having lifestyle. And so this would be the last diet, quote unquote, you'll ever do. And I was just intrigued by that. And she said, but to really ensure your success, be a health coach. And I thought, now who's about to do that? But that's what I did. Now, I don't think you necessarily have to be a health coach just to have a successful health coach story, but that is how I decided to be a health coach. So I totally pivoted, at 30 some years old and decided to be a health coach with a focus on helping people be able to not just lose weight, but improve their health long term, keep the weight off.
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you for sharing. Jacqueline, did you want to share? And we have a lot in common because we're both natural hair stylists and we're both entering into the healthcare world. So can you tell us a little bit about your story of why you decided to become your particular coach? I know we all, like I said, it's a trauma story or a health coach. Are you want to share? And I want to address some of the comments. Elevation White, I can't pronounce it. Elevation White and Jennifer Jace and please join the conversation. We're here for Q&A questions. So if you want to join the conversation, put it in the chat and we'll put this the question on the screen and we'll be happy to help you. But go ahead, Jessica. Jacqueline.
All right, all right. So I became a holistic nutrition coach because of my own journey. I became very ill And it was in May. No, let me get it right. It was February of 2018. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, on
Oh,
top of some other diseases that I had going on. But that one sent me to the emergency room. Things got really serious. Yeah. So I wanted to better my health, first of all. But before that, I had been, as we mentioned, a hairstylist since the 90s. So just what the wear and tear over time just took a toll on my body, and I wanted to learn how I could better take care of myself.
okay. I've heard of Graves' disease before, but can you explain what Graves' disease actually is and how it affects your
So
body?
yes, yes. So it is your thyroid, which is the butterfly gland right here. It is hyper. It's a hyperthyroid. So I started losing a lot of weight. I started going through almost every symptom you can think of for Graves, which also led me, like I said, to the ER, and my heart rate was very increased, and I was threatening to have a heart attack or stroke, is what the doctors told me. So yes, it is the hormone that affects so many different hormones in your body. Yeah.
Okay. And how long were
So
you going
it's
through that? How long
so
are you still
when I
going through it? Or
oh yeah, it's the autoimmune. So let me
okay.
clear that up. Sorry, it is the autoimmune version of Graves' disease. There is no cure at the time, but we'll talk about it later how I've been able to manage. But yeah, I still have it. So it's been 5 years now. It was 2018,
Wow.
and that same year I decided to lock my hair. So that's for
Oh,
another
nice.
day.
It's all a part of the journey. I
Mhm.
got you.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing. Andy, last but
Mhm.
not least, you want to share a little bit about your story?
So my journey started in medicine, right? I had been in the hospital setting since high school. And so then I go to nursing school and working in a hospital setting. What made me pivot from conventional nursing is that I had realized that I was the buffer in between the provider and the patient. And I had
Mm,
a lot of patients that were like, I knew, like, I believed them. I believed them when they're like, this is going on. I mean, I
mhm,
was watching them get the circle. And it doesn't, you know how they say stuff like it doesn't affect you until it affects you? Well, my
mhm,
body starts shutting down, right? And then I became the person in the circle of it's all in your head. It's all in your head.
mm.
And I left conventional nursing so that I
Wow.
could be an advocate because so that I could be the person for me that I needed, but I could also be the person that someone else needed so that they didn't have to go through the circle anymore. I figure I had prayed on it and God was like, well, you have this thing, right? Where you know medicine, right? And you know what tests to look for and order, and you know how to read these things. And you've also been in the middle of the storm of nobody believes you. But now,
Mm,
I can help, you can help others by going, let me prevent you from going through the circle for 13 years. You go to the doctor and you
mm.
ask for these specific tests because I believe that there's really something going on in your body and you spend the most time in your body. You live there, right? And so that's
Right.
that's what got me into health coaching on that end. And the stress management focus was at the age of 40, I had a heart attack. Mid
Whoa. I
sentence,
didn't know that.
I died for 38 minutes, random,
Wow.
completely sudden cardiac arrest. And what I
Uh-huh.
realized in my healing journey is that I spent so much time telling everybody I was fine because Black women are supposed to be
Wow.
strong. How you doing? I'm fine. I'm good. I got it. I can take care of it. Mid sentence, I
Mhm.
died for 38 minutes. I wasn't fine. So
Right.
my focus became helping other women of color stop hiding behind that umbrella of fine. If you're not fine, let's work through it and helping them navigate what that looks like.
Wow, wow, wow. So you said you were going through that for 13 years until you got out of it?
I had been misdiagnosed for 16 years. My kidneys had
Oh,
started to
wow.
fail. It was all kinds of things. My diagnosis is lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and MS, right? And
Oh,
now
okay.
there's POTS, and
Okay.
then I had a heart attack. But all of these things were like stacking on top of each other while they were misdiagnosing me and telling me it was all in my head.
Wow. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Like, um, I can only imagine being in a lot of pain and nobody believing you. Like, that's heartbreaking. So, I commend you for wanting to break the cycle and help others. And Jacqueline, you said you were going through that for 5 years.
So I was diagnosed 5 years ago. Yes, with Graves' disease. I also have, I have childhood asthma. I developed it as a child. So and some other joint issues that recently have just shown themselves. But yeah. But the Graves' disease, 5 years. I was diagnosed 5 years ago.
And Jessica, how long were you? Is the weight problem? Am I not mistaken? I think you're muted. Mm.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't even realize
Okay.
it. My biggest concern was weight, but it should have been health, because at 24, they had diagnosed me with very high cholesterol. So you hear high cholesterol and it's so common.
24.
So it's just common. So that's kind of how I thought of it. And so, but I remember that number. It was 336 when I was 24. I didn't give it much thought, though, until the weight became an issue, although I had been even overweight as a teenager. So for me, it was battling with weight. And then that became a concern, especially with pregnancy in view, getting that cholesterol down. Okay. And it was like, well, the best way to do that is going to be, lifestyle or be on medication. And we had already gone that route. And then about 5.5 years ago, my sister passed away of a massive heart attack at 40 years old. And so that caused me to not necessarily pivot, but really develop. I developed a true passion for now a focus of health coaching with women of color. Since heart disease is the leading cause of death among women, even more so among women of color still today. And about 55% of Black women don't even realize that it's the leading cause of death. So the education is necessary. So, I even had coached men in the past, which is fine. I've had some great clients that I have worked with over the past 19 years, and I've been able to keep my 65 pounds off. However, yes, and managing that cholesterol. However, it's what I'm doing now that brings me probably the most joy, because it's important to give people their health back.
Yeah, and I want to go back to what you said before. You said women in the Black community, we kind of just brush it over and sweep it under the rug, like, oh, I have high cholesterol, I have high blood pressure, and we don't really give it the necessary attention that we did. So I want to encourage people, if you have high cholesterol, try to get it together, try to bring it back down, try to lose some weight or change your diet, because we do tend to brush it off, and in the long run, we have more health problems because we kind of swept it under the rug a little bit. Exactly. So the next question is, how did you change your mindset from where you ladies were to where you are now? And I'm gonna start with Andy. How did you have to get out of that space that you were in and say, okay, I want to change my mindset and I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like who I am and I want to become better for myself?
I decided that I no longer wanted to feel broken, and I replaced broken with brave.
Oh, wow.
And I said that instead I will bravely say, no, I live in this body and I will keep coming until we figure it out. And I would bravely go, this doesn't work for me. But I went from being broken to boldly and bravely advocating for myself, because I wanted to just feel better. I had spent so much time in a very dark space, right? And when you don't feel well and your body is essentially betraying you, and you spend so much time in that space where you don't feel well, your thoughts get real dark, right? They get real dark. And depression. I spent a lot of time in a really dark place, and I knew something had to give the day I decided I no longer wanted to live, and I acted on it. I actively said, I no longer want to do this. What's poetically beautiful about that is, clearly I couldn't do that, right? Because I'm still here, right? I correctly could not end my life. And I don't advocate anyone trying to do that, but I say that to say this. God told me in that moment that I still had things to do. And if that wasn't proven in that moment, and I didn't realize that until my heart attack, that he kept me from hurting me, and he took me from me to save me all in a decade. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying? I went from broken and not wanting to be here to bravely being able to say, I'm glad you took me from me so that you
mm,
can save me from me so that I can
oh,
help others.
wow,
So,
wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. That's so loaded. Like, there's so many questions that I want to ask after that powerful statement that you just said. In the Okay, so I went to this fibroids event a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of the women there, when they went to doctors, the doctors didn't believe that they were in pain. So with you being an RN, why don't they believe us? Like, why isn't there any sincereness or any urgency to figure out what's wrong with us or do all they can as a doctor should? Why do you think that what you being an RN in the health field?
So in my honest opinion, it's because they don't have enough time, right, to actually sit with you and say the things. And a lot of the
Mm,
times when it comes to women, and especially women of color, the providers we get don't get specialized training in how to deal with things of, in the community of people of
mm,
color, right? They get trained to see the textbook, but not the whole person, to treat the symptom, but not the root, right? And so that's why it's the way that it is. It's because they have enough time to treat the symptom and not the root. Why health coaches are so important and valuable is because we have the time to address the root,
exactly.
right? And so you can
Mhm.
actually holistically heal mind, body, spirit all at once, cohesively, and work very well with your medical team because somebody has the time to help you get to where you need it to go.
Yeah, that is so powerful. When I went to the Women's Empowerment event, I spoke to a doctor and she said the exact same thing. She said, as doctors, they don't have but 15 to 20 minutes with you. But when you introduce a life coach and they become like part of the team for the doctor, like the support, then the patient will have more time to ask questions, understand what's going on with their mind and body and how it connects, the routines and the support system. I really think that health coaches are wonderful. But I do want to address elevation. Elevate, it says replace broken with brave. Yes, that is so true. But before I want to go to the next question, I want to ask Jacqueline and Jessica the same thing. How did you have to change your mindset from where you are to where you want it to be? When it
Okay,
comes to
so
the health.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So, it's something because it was similar to what Andy mentioned about I wanted to feel better.
Mm,
Um, Growing up, I was typically a happy child. And although I had a lot of things that happened, a lot of trauma, I still had my parents supporting me and my faith. And it helped me to, family, friends, just helped me to be a positive. I tried to have a positive mindset. But when I got really sick, I didn't like being in that place because I knew what happy felt like. And I didn't want to be there anymore. So sick. So the depression had me in the bed. I mean, I just wasn't myself. No energy. So I wanted to feel better. And I also still had children who were minors
mm,
and married. So I had to, I wanted to pull it together for them, but I had to get myself together first so that I could be there for them. So
yeah.
yeah, that was the main thing that I just wanted to feel better. Mhm.
Yeah. And I wanted to go back to what you and Andy just said. When you have health issues and it's not being treated, it can make you go into a depression. I have type 1 diabetes. And if I don't treat my high blood sugar or if my sugar is constantly high, I do go into depression. It's like, oh my God, am I going to be on dialysis? Am I on the side? It's just like a trickle effect of worrying and anxiety and depression. So if we got to just center ourselves and get us together before we worry about anything. But Jessica, I want to ask you the same thing. What did you have to do to change your mindset?
Well, one was to accept the fact that I didn't have to settle for where I was, because
Hmm.
the reality is when you have lifestyle diseases that run in your family, it just becomes the normal. Going back to, this thing with the high cholesterol, it's not uncommon for people of color to sit around at family reunions and everybody's asking, well, what blood pressure medication are you on? And
Mm.
it was almost like a badge of honor in families. And
Wow.
so I had to shift my mindset, like, this is not okay. Obesity is not okay and should not be just accepted. So I'm not talking about body size or weight. I'm talking about obesity, which is a disease. We can't just accept it. And for a while I had, and that's part of the reason that diets were failing for me, because I hadn't shifted the mindset. That's again why health coaches are so important, because we talk about the need to shift your mindset. So all of a sudden it was like, well, it doesn't have to be understood that I have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And that's, like I said, it became even more important to me to convey that mindset shift to others after my sister died.
Wow.
Because we had both talked about the need for having a cardiologist with our family history, but it was kind of like, well, who just goes and gets a cardiologist unless something's happened? So it's all about just shifting how you look at disease and not looking at heart disease as just a white man's disease. And so there was a lot of shifts that I had to make, and even the affections of my own heart when it came to culture and health, just, making a lot of changes in that way.
Yeah. And I want to go back to what you said, that I didn't put, I guess it's just me not being aware. I wouldn't put obesity as a disease. I would not put that in that category, but it's unhealthy. Being overweight is not a healthy place to be in. And like you said, it just becomes a thing of the norm. Like, even as me having type 1 diabetes, people will say, oh, she got that sugar. And it's like, that's not even what you call diabetes. Or if I say insulin, oh, she got it real bad. Like, we have to change the way and educate ourselves of what it is, so we can be better people and be more aware of what we have, because it is common in the Black community. But the next question is to kind of segue into changing our lifestyle. What did you ladies have to do to change your lifestyle? Andy?
So for me, it wasn't really a big change. I think my lifestyle, the biggest change in my lifestyle, literally was me flipping the switch from all of the things that people told me I couldn't do because of my diagnosis, and saying, but wait, why can't I do it? And then actually just trying to do the things that all along I've been told you'll never be able to do this again because, right? I literally sat with myself one night and said, but why can't you do it? Like, are you physically, literally, and able to do it? Are you absent of limbs and, sound mind and body? Or did you let their no become your no? And so I started to think about all of the things that I used to love to do, that once I started getting diagnoses, I was like, man, I'll never be able to do that again. And pieces of me were dying. I was like, well, I feel so unwhole. And I just started picking up pieces of the puzzle again and going, well, let me just try it and see. What I found out, though, was that it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was that I had to learn to do it differently. And I still enjoy it. I can still do the hard things. I just learned to do them differently, that honors my body, so that I could still have a life that has quality of it,
Yeah, you said that so beautifully. So I don't know if I told the audience yet, but I became type 1 diabetic when I was 9 years old. So as a 9-year-old, I'm thinking that life is over. Like, I got to take these 4 shots a day, and I can't eat candy anymore, or cookies or carbs anymore. But it's like Andy said, it's not that you can't do it anymore. It's not like it's a no, but if you have to have a balance. You can still eat different things, or drink a glass of wine, or drink a margarita, or but you have to have balance with everything and limit. And it's just learning and educating yourself of what you can do and understanding what your body can handle. Jacqueline, you want to go ahead about how did you make your lifestyle change?
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this conversation. For myself, I had to, because I was exercising. So exercise was not the problem for me. I was yo-yo dieting though. So I would eat healthy, and then I would turn around and binge out on stuff that was really not good for me. So I ended up going to a holistic doctor. And he put me on the path. He helped me get on the path to making changes with my almost like he was like my therapist a little bit, but he helped me I can't even get it out. He helped me identify foods that were causing me to be inflamed. So he helped me in that way. And then I also had to realize that I could not micromanage my children children's lives because I was trying to fix everything. And we have 4 children. And so trying to take care of this one and that one and this one and that one. And they were growing up. So I had to realize I can't control what other people do. I can't control how they think. I could only control what I did. And
That
taking
part.
that stress off of myself, it has taken me a while. I mean, I still worry as a mother, but
Mhm.
I had to take that stress off of myself and learning to say no. I had to learn to say
Mm.
no to a lot of things that I would like to do to help other people, but I just don't have the capacity. I don't have
I
the capacity to do it all.
And you have to listen to your body and know what your body can do and what your body can handle. But let me address some of these comments before I get to Jessica. Elevate says, it is strange how they don't think women of color feel pain. We are human, silly rabbit. And somebody new in the chat, Felicia Wilson, I don't believe that we do. I don't believe that we don't take our health very seriously. I believe that the labs are not explaining nor sharing. Many doctors say labs are fine. Just exercise and eat healthy. Yeah, they do. Just brush it off. And I was telling somebody the other day, like when I go into the doctor, I feel like you don't care about me. Like I'm just here because you were on the book. And then it's like, what about, hey, how you doing? It's just really like a blow up type of thing. But Jessica, what did you do to change your lifestyle from back then to where it is now?
Well, it's interesting what Felicia's comment was about what doctors say, just eat healthy and exercise. And so, at one point when I went to see my doctor, and, it's like I was having a hard time getting pregnant. And he says, I really believe it's weight. You need to lose weight. And I said, okay. And it's like, okay, now I've tried this 10,000 times, but okay. And then he sent me on my way. I remember asking him, and it was a Black male doctor, well, what do I do? Like, I tried diet, so tell me what to do. And he said, I'm not sure what to tell you. I just know you need to lose at least 30 pounds.
Wow. And he
So
said, I'm not sure.
he said, I'm not sure. He didn't even have a diet person for me to call.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was probably about 6 months after that I ended up getting a health coach that I actually met through my mother. But
Okay.
I wanted to mention that to say that the lifestyle change was never just about diet and exercise. And that's what they'll always tell you and still not give you options. So I had to change my lifestyle from not just what I'm eating and exercising more, but what that looked like for me was being more consistent, doing things that were sustainable. So those days of me going to the gym at 6 a.m., 5 days a week for 3 months and then just falling off, that stopped. So it was now sustainable where it became part of a lifestyle. That also included things like hydration, drinking more water and sleep. These are things that I
Right.
talk to my clients about. I mean, that was huge. And no one had ever shared that there was a connection between health and sleep. And yet, lack of sleep is one of the other biggest risk factors for cardiometabolic diseases like heart attack, stroke, diabetes, and obesity. Those are all cardiometabolic diseases that can be managed with sleep. So I really did change my lifestyle. And I talk a lot about how, living a healthy lifestyle is like a full-time job. And then I think, some take that like, well, that makes it sound like it's a lot of work. Not necessarily that it's so much work, but it requires a level of focus that each day you make a decision. Each day you choose to do things that are healthy for your body. And when you're dieting, sometimes that's not really what your mindset is. So lifestyle for me was literally changing my lifestyle from what I'm eating to what time I go to bed, all of that. My life looks totally different than if you went back to 20 years ago before I started working with a health coach.
Nice. And that brings me to the next question is it it took confidence to do that. So how did you get the confidence to say, I'm gonna do this? I'm not gonna go back to where I was. Like confidence is big for us when we have this huge life change to no longer put up or deal with what we do and change and be better and be healthy. How did you gain that confidence and stick it out and say, I'm gonna do this? Jessica, you can go back.
That's an excellent question. I have worked too hard, number one. And I was like, I'm not doing this. This is the last one for me. And my coach, number one, gave me that confidence because, as I said earlier, she says, well, become a health coach, you'll keep your weight off. You'll change your lifestyle. Who really does that? You know, because like I said, I don't think you have, I tell my clients, you don't have to be a health coach. But she gave me the confidence that I could. And so when we had conversations, it was more than just what is your why? That's an excellent question, but that is not enough. We had to go a little deep, well, a lot deeper, and start looking to the future. Like, okay, so now what happens if you get pregnant and then the baby comes? Then what? And that is what happened. I got pregnant. So now he's here. Am I going to go back to that old life, before adopting a healthy lifestyle? But she gave me the confidence that I could do it. And so again, going back to mindset, to me, confidence and mindset go hand in hand. I needed to have that at every step of the way. Now, everybody's at different places in their health journey. And I feel like mine started all over again recently, in more recent years going through menopause. Same thing. I had to have the confidence that, okay, you can do this. And this was a huge upset in my life. I thought pregnancy was something, menopause is something else. But, I have the tools. And when you have the tools, you can have the confidence.
Yeah. Andy, you're right, Jessica. Andy, I feel like you wanted to say something. But how did you gain the confidence?
So literally I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this can't be life for me. And I was being very vulnerable with myself. And I kept asking myself, why is it that you can help everyone else feel better, but yet you don't feel better? Right. And it was because I wasn't pouring into me what I was pouring into them. Right. All of the care and nurture and helping them reset their diets and heal themselves from the inside out. Right. I wasn't ready to do the work mentally and emotionally so that I could feel better. Right. I wanted my body to feel better, but I didn't want to do all of the things that would make my body feel better, which means I needed to let go. I needed to let go of the things I couldn't control. I needed to accept that this was my faith walk, right? I needed to accept that, yes, I have a diagnosis, but that diagnosis wasn't my truth. Like, it wasn't my end all be all. And once I did that, when I was like, okay, so I got it, but it don't got me. And I'm still out here with the trick hip doing the two-step and the shuffle, right? My pull-up game is still strong. I may have these things on paper, but me and this trick hip still out here making moves. And so now I just find it makes me smile, because I would ask the questions about, well, can we maybe try to do this from a holistic angle? Can we do it? Can we start working on foods? Can we do some allergy testing? Well, there's no certified proof that works. I said, bet. I had believed that for so long. And then one day I was like, wait a minute, you got a whole master's degree in holistic nutrition. Did you really just let this man who got 1 week of nutrition in 4 to 6 years of med school tell you that you cannot do things with food? Because at the end, medications are derived from foods. The first medications to treat an illness was derived from a plant. You eat the plant. How do you think mold get here? We eat it. It grows on plants, but then we say that food doesn't help heal. Make it make sense.
Wow. Well, that's a handful right there. It's like, wait a minute. I didn't know medicine came from food. Like, I thought it was a chemical, but I didn't know. I'm not aware of. That's why I got to educate myself more. Jacqueline, how did you change your mindset? And ladies, please, in the comments, please keep commenting. I'm going to read them as soon as I get to it.
Yes, man. They showing out in the comment section. I love it. I just want to say something. When you mentioned about medicine, you didn't know it was food. And what Andy just said. In doing my studies to become a nutritionist, a holistic nutritionist, one of the things that used to treat diabetes was oatmeal. They used to use oatmeal, the oatmeal diet. And it's funny because I eat oatmeal almost every single day, faithfully, overnight oats. Reason being is because I have, with my Graves' disease, I go to an endocrinologist. So we see the same doctor, Leslie. And my blood sugar drops. So I have to get something that's going to stabilize. And guess what? at one point they were like, "Oh, you may need medication." I was like, "Okay." I heard them talking, but I ended up going back to my holistic doctor, and here I am. So, what has helped me to
Gain confidence.
gain confidence? I had to surround myself with like-minded individuals.
Mm,
That has been a big adjustment.
that can be
Um,
a huge adjustment in
it's
people's
a
life. It's
huge
been a huge
adjustment.
adjustment in
It's a huge
everybody's life.
adjustment. Um, some people were not happy about the path that I've decided to take, but
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it. I had to do it for me, and that has made such a difference. A beautiful community of women, you all included. So many right here. I'm looking at this chat. So many of these names that Felicia and Vern and who we have, Dana, and I saw Janice. I think I saw Janice, but anyway, I'm sorry if I messed up your name, Jennifer. Just the community that has made such a big difference, in how I have gained my confidence. And now when I go places, it's so funny because I'm vegan now. So
Okay.
plant-based. Yes, I'm a plant-based vegan. There's a difference. But
Okay.
when I go places, sometimes, I mean, people, they'll sit there and just watch me. And it's like, how do you, Jessica's laughing. They're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, it's become a part of me. I love it. I feel good. And I was recently diagnosed with a trick hip too.
Oh wow.
when I went when I went to the chiropractor just the other day, and it was like, oh my goodness, what in the world?
Mm.
Like, what just happened? But it's okay. I rested, and then I got right back to it because y'all know I'm going to dance. Even if I have to modify my dancing, I'm going to dance until I can't dance anymore. So
You
yeah, just
moving.
surrounding myself with like-minded individuals is the biggest thing that has helped me.
Yeah. And I want to go back to these oatmeal comments. I was eating oatmeal for a while when I want to lose weight because I have type 1 diabetes. And for a while, like maybe like 2019, every morning I would eat oatmeal because I was about to go on this cruise and I wanted to lose weight. And then you go to the bathroom and you eat oats or whatever. And I was like, this is really good. But now that I think about it, my blood sugar was more stable when I was eating oatmeal. So it's like, okay, maybe I should go back and get some oatmeal
Yes,
because
yes.
I
And
had no idea.
yeah,
What?
it does. It keeps it stabilized, especially when you pair it with certain things. Like I pair mine with I make sure I put blueberries every day. That's a whole nother class we can talk about another, not I'm saying class live, but I'm looking at the comments. I love what they're saying here. And then Andy mentioned
You can
about the
read us some.
oatmeal cookies. Look at that, the oatmeal cookies. Yes. I made
Yes.
oatmeal pancakes. I made oatmeal, what else? Oatmeal cookies, oatmeal pancakes. One day I forgot to do my overnight oats last week, and guess what I did? Put it in a smoothie.
Oh
Kept my
wow.
blood
Okay.
sugar for hours. So yeah, it's a lot you can do with oatmeal, and it comes from the earth.
You know what I did for we all had this 3-day convention. I made some oatmeal, some vanilla powder, and some sugar-free chocolate chip cookies, and I put it in a blender and I made the oatmeal bars. And I was like, I don't want to be snacking on like fatty foods for 8 hours. Let me just make some like protein bars or whatever. So I went on TikTok and try to make my protein bars, and it actually was good. So that's
Mhm,
something that I have
mhm,
learned about protein bars.
mhm.
Yes. But anyway, ladies, let's go into the transition of where we were. We gained our confidence to change where we was from, our trauma story or our health story. What made you say, okay, I want to be a health coach? Like, I really want to help people. Like, I made some progress in my life. I want to help people. Jessica?
So for me, like I said, I felt like I got put in a trick bag by my health coach, since she said, what I mentioned earlier, that if you become a health coach, it'll help you be more accountable. But really, when I thought about it, the timing was just right. I wasn't really that happy in banking, in insurance anyway. I just hated having to always, redo those licenses and take those tests. And so it wasn't out of the realm of possibility that I would shift, an entire career. But I didn't ever know that it would be health coaching in 100 years. But it didn't take very long, literally just a couple of weeks in. I knew that I was on the right path. And that's when I said, okay, let me go ahead and get my certification. I became a corporate trained health coach too. So, I mean, I had a really solid foundation, but that was it. It really started with my own journey. And I think that's the case with almost all health coaches. I mean, health coaching is just not a career that you can just point to and step into, like banking. And let's just say because I'm good with numbers or I like numbers. There's a level of compassion and empathy that is needed from health coaches. And that's generally because most of us have walked that journey. Whatever the type coach we become, there's something about our own personal health that brought us there. And so,
Mhm.
I just always wanted to see women thrive, especially women, and enjoy what I've been able to enjoy. And that was my reason for making the shift. And that is why I continue to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I want to get to the RN, Andy. What made you transition from being the RN to a health coach?
Like I was kind of double-hatted. Um, but my desire to be a health coach started young. Like
Mm.
I just wanted to fix my granddad. Like I really
Aw.
just like my attachment
Aw.
to healing hearts started young for me. Like my granddad was my hero, right? But he also was the only man I knew that could have like a trillion heart attacks and some strokes and still be ornery and spry. But it
Mhm.
was like every time he would get sick, I would just be like, I just want to make you feel better. Like if I could just keep you a little while longer.
Mhm.
Um, and then so I was active duty. So while stationed overseas, my granddad passed and I couldn't make it home. Like my heart was broken. And also, I just kind of didn't want to see him in a way that I didn't remember him. Like I didn't want to see him sick. But it
Mhm.
was at that moment that I was like, okay, you can do good. You can do so much good with the information that you do know. Right. And I may not know everything. And I started off and it was very broad. Let me just help you with nutrition. But when I tell you, you see life different after you die, let that sink in. You
Mm.
see life different after you die.
Mhm.
When I had the cardiac arrest, I realized that in all of that circle of busy and all of the doing, I laid there in a intensive care room by myself. And
Mhm.
that job that was so important where I did all of the busy doing, it was
Mhm.
still moving, right? And
Mhm.
my room was empty. And
Oh,
so
wow.
just like that, life still keeps going. They had already put someone in my desk and I prayed that night. I said, God, if you get me through this,
Mm.
I will go wherever you lead me. Just tell me what it is that I'm supposed to be learning from this, right?
Mm.
Because you brought me back. So what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this?
Mhm.
And I said that night, I said, I made it my purpose to make sure that no other woman, let alone a woman of color, experiences the type of permanent heartbreak that I had
Mhm.
to feel to sit down and take the pause. Because had I taken the pause when my body said, you have taken on too much and you don't have to
Mhm.
keep being strong, I could have prevented a heart attack. I could have prevented a lot of things, right? And if doctors listened to me when I was saying this is going on in my body, and instead of them listening, I carried around the stress of them not listening, on top of
Oh.
already not feeling well, on top
Mhm.
of being a mom and a wife, and on top of having a job and doing the things and telling people I'm fine. My fine meant I am broken, I am overwhelmed, I am exhausted, my body hurts, I am stressed, I am trying to keep it together until I couldn't keep it together. And then I decided that I no longer needed to wear that mask and that I mattered enough to take a knee and figure out me. I mattered enough to spend time with the person that got to do life again, right?
Mhm.
So spend time and heal. And I started peeling back the layers. And I started to let go of a lot of things. And you realize that in that space of acceptance of you, it may not always be pretty. You're not always going to
Mhm.
have it together, but you're not supposed to. Because if we always have it together, are we learning? We're
Mm.
not. And life is gonna life. We just learn how to navigate the storm a little bit better every time we have a storm. And so
Mm.
that's what I encourage. I help people navigate storms. And I teach you coping mechanisms to be able to do it with grace. It won't always be with ease, but you'll be able to do it with grace.
Mhm.
Head held up high, knowing that I'm not supposed to be able to fix it, but I can make it through this storm.
Wow. Whew, girl, I know some of people are crying. I have tears in my eyes. I'm trying not to wipe it. I see Jacqueline. So let me get it, let her get it together really quickly. About I'm gonna share my story. And then I'm gonna let Jacqueline go. I'm not a health coach yet, but I want to become a health coach. Like some of you guys know, my father committed suicide when I was 9. Um, and he dealt with mental illness. That's why he's no longer here. Then I have type 1 diabetes. So I started this Brown Girls Embrace page because I wanted to find people like me who deal with anxiety and depression and type 1 diabetes. And I wasn't really taking it serious because it was during the pandemic. My grandfather died, and my grandfather, he died of COVID in 2021 from COVID. And he was a doctor, and he helped so many people, and he was just for the people. He was for his Black people or whatever. And he motivated me to want to do it more. So I started motivating people on Instagram, and it's like, oh, I want to, just be a positive person. But every day I can't post something positive. But then one day my friend called me and was like, hey, my mom just got diabetes and I need your help. So after she got home from the doctor, I was on the phone for her for like a good 30 minutes telling her, okay, set the timer, take insulin every 4 hours, check your blood sugar, do this. And she was like, you should really be like a diabetic coach because and I enjoyed it. And I'm like, her sugar's too high, or Leslie, what should I do? Like drink some more water and try to walk around the block a little bit. And the joy I had from just helping somebody that dealt with the same thing as I did. And she lived, her mom lives in Florida. She lives here, but her mom's in Florida. And for her to call me and I'm willing to help her, and me not wanting to do the same thing that my dad did and get myself together and help other people, because I know what depression can do to you. Like, he's out. Like, I know it can put you in a bad space. I have type 1 diabetes. I know when my blood sugar is low, what kind of mindset I'm, or if it's high, it's out of control. I know what kind of mindset I'm in. So that's why I personally am trying to become a health coach, and I enjoy motivating and helping brown girls like me, because it's not a lot of us motivating each other and being sincere like you were, Andy and Jessica and Jacqueline, like people that really want to help you and are there to be your cheerleader and your coach. But go ahead, Jacqueline.
And you said I was going to get it together. No, ma'am. Okay. Because I'm sorry for the loss. All of you have lost your loved ones because of health issues. So we became caregivers for my mother-in-law a few years ago.
Okay.
And I think that moving her in with us gave us a little bit more time with her, because she did pass away. She passed away 2 years ago in May.
All right.
But when she came to live with us, I was in the middle of finishing up my certification to become a nutritionist. And what really led me down this road, though, it started way back many years ago. My grandmother, my grandparents, especially on my father's side, they were into growing their own vegetables, fruits. They raised their own animals. We ate off the land. We really did eat off the land. You got something going on, grandma, go out there. You get burned, let me go break some aloe vera off. So I saw that, but they never explained what they were doing. So I got curious, like, hold up. I noticed when grandma would do certain things, I felt better. And so throughout my life, I've always turned to holistic. We have our eldest child who was very sick with some things that I won't mention, but when he was really little, I went straight holistic. We went straight holistic. We were going to herbalists. We were going up in Atlanta to see different, naturopathic doctors. I mean, we found a way. Mm-hmm. And so all of the family that, seeing what they went through, just even though I know that we don't have the power to save anyone's, we can't fix it. We can help them to be able to manage and cope and have a better quality of life. But we know that we can't fix it, but it does feel good to be able to see others smile again, even though they may still have an illness. Mm-hmm. It feels good. And so I did it for myself first, and then others that I love. Like I said, I think back with my mother-in-law, had we not gotten her out of her place and moved her in when we did, then like she was not doing good. And she was also diabetic. So I did the things that you just mentioned, Leslie. You're going to be an excellent health coach. You are going to be excellent. I did the things you mentioned. Blood sugar too high. Okay, she needs to drink water, get up and walk around. I mean, those things. So yeah, just the passion the experience I had with myself, my own health, and then helping the people around me has really driven me to want to continue. I don't want to stop. As long as I can, I want to continue to help others. And as Andy mentioned, we will not do it perfectly. I am constantly continuing my education because I am not all knowing. I don't know everything, but trust me, I will try to figure it out. I'll try to figure it out.
Nice. And I want to say, hairstylist to hairstylist, doesn't it feel good when somebody walks in and they feel down and they leave feeling happy? Isn't that a good feeling we get? Like, just to put on somebody's face, like, even if they come get a shampoo and a braid down for a week, like, just that shampoo by somebody else makes a person feel good. And I think that's the joy of helping for me.
It's the joy. A few of my clients are here.
Oh, hey, clients, thanks for joining.
Look, on the live with us and in the chat. Thank y'all for joining. And being on this conversation. But it does feel good. And then being a natural hairstylist, like you said, Leslie, we're always trying to I make hair oils. You make a plethora of products. But it comes from caring about natural hair and realizing we don't have to have chemicals to look beautiful. We can do it the natural way.
Yeah. And it's not about just it's making some, for me, for the body butters, it's having that product that feels good on your skin. Like shea butter feels good, and Black people, we love. I don't know a Black person that don't love shea butter. Like shea butter feels good. It's just smooth and soft. And I'm all about people feeling good. Like the world beats us up enough. Like let's just be there for each other and support each other. Like even with you ladies right there, I've just met you guys a few weeks ago, but we're a support system. Like you repost my stuff, I repost your stuff, you comment, you're here to support me tonight. So it's just building community and being willing to help one another and bring one another up. Like we've just shared stories that life has just thrown a lot of at us. So we need more support in that area. And I want to ask you, Jacqueline, do you have a garden you grow? It sounds like you have a garden of your own.
Yes, I have a small garden. And I love to be out there. I could stay out there all day, but I do. Yes, I do.
And I want to grow an olive oil plant and some tomatoes. I just think that's like kind of relaxing. Like it's soothing. It's therapeutic. That's the word for it.
Yes. And I feel grounded. Like that's a real thing. I feel grounded. Like if I could go out there without my shoes, without being attacked. Yeah, you've seen me dance without my shoes on. But like if I could go in that garden without my shoes, I'd do it. I really would in a heartbeat.
That's beautiful. Okay, and let's kind of wrap it up. We're going on an hour. I know you guys, some people in the comments want to ask questions, but what's a common question you ask about being a life coach? Like, being a health coach, what is a health coach? Like, what's some common questions that you guys came across? Jessica, you want to go?
Health coaches have different areas of expertise, but a lot of times people just will associate us with maybe a personal trainer or a dietitian. There just really isn't a good understanding by a lot of people. So that is one of the most common questions I get as a health coach. What exactly is a health coach? So you're going to give me a diet. So it really just involves, of course, explaining that it's someone who helps you to manage your lifestyle so that you can fight disease. I mean, that's really what a health coach does, taking a much more holistic approach so that perhaps you may not even need medication. You might, but really a health coach takes that approach and they look at the whole picture. One of the ladies mentioned that earlier. I mean, it's the total body. This has never just been about dieting and exercise. And so, but that's probably the most common question I get. What exactly do you do?
Right, exactly. Friends be like, what is that? Like, okay, I've never heard of that before. But nowadays, people don't want to go to the doctor. They'd rather go to a health coach. A lot of people don't even have insurance. So, but if you have a health coach, let's go straight to the source. Andy, what's a common question, since you're in the medical field more often? What's a common question you get asked about health coaches?
What is a holistic wellness practitioner? I get that all the time. What does that even mean? They're like, holistic. So the common misconception is that I'm a hippie. Yes, I am. Okay.
Okay.
Peace. I'm here. Smiley faces and hugs, right? But it's always, well, what is it that you do? Right. And how I always explain it to people is, I'm your passenger or I'm your co-pilot. Together, we're going to work out your new route to the goal that you just set. I am not going to tell you how to get there. I'm going to give you some tools and I'm going to let you drive. But if I think you're kind of off the beaten path, we can discuss it. But I tell people out the gate, I'm the person that you need because I'm the person that's going to address the root so you can feel better. I'm the person that you're going to feel safe with, that you can talk. We will. And the ladies on this live knows, like, if we have a conversation and I feel like you going left, I'm going to address the root. And I go, well, why are you working yourself up? Like, why did you just make this into a whole mountain? And it don't need to be. Like, what are we doing? And it's because our body stays in fight or flight. The minute we get anxious, we go into fight or flight. That heart rate goes up. You know what's associated with that? Your state of inflammation inside your body. So if your body is achy all the time, it's probably because your shoulders are your earrings and you're so tense and you're always like this all the time. Your body stays in fight or flight. If you want to feel better, you're going to learn to start letting stuff go. And I'm going to help you navigate letting stuff go so you can literally bebop through life a little bit lighter and a little less pain. I work with a lot of people with chronic illnesses, right? So understanding that I can't take your illness away, but we can work on a better quality of life. Let's do that. Let's live a good quality of life with the life that we do have in the body that we don't always like. But let's honor her and appreciate her. So yeah.
Nice. And to go back to the tense tense, I used to work at Red Door Spa, so I got massages for like nothing. And every time I would go get a massage, I would get a massage like every 2 weeks. And every time I would go get a massage, the guy who massaged me, he was like, "Do you have like scoliosis or something? Because you're always so tense." And I knew that was an anxiety that made me tense. But even to this, like when you just mentioned, I mentioned like, I must be really stressed about something because my body is aching right when you said it's your body aching. And it's like you gotta breathe in, breathe out, and relax.
Oh, I could see it. Your shoulders are way up here. They've been way up here the whole conversation. So you just take a deep breath for me real quick. Take a deep breath, bring them all the way up here. Let it go and just drop your shoulders. That's where they're supposed to live. They're supposed to live way down here. So at any right, you feel some sort of way now, right? So every time you feel like it's super tense, you force your shoulders all the way up here and just let it out and just let them drop. They'll go exactly back down where they're supposed to be. All along, it makes you very aware of your posture, but it also makes you very aware of how many times a day you are in a high stress situation in your body.
Wow. High stress situation. I feel like I'm always in a high stress situation.
Well, if your shoulders are your earrings, you are always in fight or flight.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know that. Thank you for that. Okay. Jacqueline, what's a common question you get asked about what is a health coach?
So for me, because a lot of people see me online and they may see me making my plants to eat, they always say, if I work with you, will I have to be a vegan? No, it is so much more than that. Okay, I will offer you a plan that has meat options if that's what you choose, but it's so much more than that. But that's like the most common question, and they don't realize, as Jessica and Andy mentioned, it's a whole lifestyle change. I mean, it's not just about food, because they hear holistic nutrition coach, they think it's just about food. No, it is about your lifestyle. I consider myself, with the help of one of my coaches, a transformation specialist. that's a name that I was like, oh, I actually like that. I like that because with the help of many, I've transformed my life. It's not the same. The illness is still there, but I don't have as many flare-ups and all that. So yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle change. So yes, you can have meat if you choose. Um, so it's not just a no meat thing. I'm just not a coach that walks around and says, "Don't eat meat, don't eat meat." That's the biggest thing I get.
I just want to say, like the misconception is like you hear health coach and you think everybody thinks nutrition and goes, she's about to tell me what I eat, right? By definition, nutrition is the thing that you feed yourself to give yourself substance, right? Health and growth. That is mental nutrition. That is spiritual nutrition. That is physical nutrition. It's what you put in your mouth hole. It's what you accept in your ear holes. It's what you believe to be fact. Nutrition is what you feed yourself as a whole. And if people started to look at it as the whole, what am I feeding myself? You absorb what you listen to, right? You attract what you project. What are you feeding your ears? What are you feeding your mind through your eyes? What are you putting on your fork, spoon, or knife? Because all of it matters. All of it matters. And it's all associated with an emotion. And nobody pauses enough to figure out what emotion is this associated with, because it's scary and they don't want to do the thing. Peel back the layer, attach the emotion so you can navigate through it and move past it. Somebody needed to hear that today.
Yeah, I did. I always relate self-care is under an umbrella of stuff. Like self-care is setting boundaries, setting, like you said, what goes in your ear and out of your ear, what goes in your mouth. And, like healthcare is, self-care is under a lot. And health and wellness goes under a lot. And it's just I think we pay attention to a lot of stupid stuff that don't matter. And we need to get to the root of the problem and grow and be better. And then that way we create a better environment for the people that surround us. If you guys are parents, if you guys deal with people on the regular, I know all of us deal with people on the regular. So it helps us when we're better mentally, we can be better to other people. So it covers the umbrella stuff. But I do want to address some of these comments. I don't want to ignore the people in the chat. It says, I just went to the endocrinologist and I was pleasantly surprised that besides bedside manner, and he answered all of my 101 questions. That is great to hear. Is there any comments in here that you got, ladies, saw that you wanted to mention?
That's funny. I'm raising my hand. When I think it was Felicia, I think she just mentioned, about gardening being very therapeutic. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I encourage anyone, if you only can just grow just one thing, do it in your house if you want to, right? Go with a house plant, but just nurture one plant and it just does something to you. I was down there today looking at my babies. I have some in the house too.
Oh, babies.
And I was like, oh, y'all, I'm so proud of them. Like they're doing really, really good. Because I'm surprised that they were still alive. Because I have to admit, I forgot to water them this week. But it's just something about it. It's just nurturing something and seeing how it grows. It's just, very therapeutic. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too. Like I said, I wanted to start every time I wanted to start. It's like I never make the time to do it. You have to make time to start a garden. And like you said, you got to water your babies, feed your babies. And it's like, I feel like diabetes is my baby. I'm always taking care of it. But anyway, we're going to wrap this conversation. Anybody in the chat before we leave, is there any questions that you want to ask anybody on the panel tonight about what is health coach? And before we leave, ladies, where can people find you in any upcoming events? And before I end, I want to say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, check out my products, Embraced by Leslie Ann. It's on my website. And I know all of us are on Instagram. So I know that for sure. But Andy, where can people find you?
Okay, so I am on the gram as Chronically Iconic Coach, also on Facebook as Chronically Iconic Coach. I'm on the YouTubes as Chronically Iconic Coach. I tried to make it super, super simple. I don't tweet, so you can't follow me there. And what was the other thing that you asked me? What do I got coming up?
Yes.
Follow me. on the Instagram, right? Save the date. The 2024 Move In Joy Summit pre-sales are happening. And what do? We love on women when we pour into women there. And next year's theme is release. It is stress management for Black women. Let's get it.
Did you have that before? Was it in Hampton?
It was.
Okay, I saw that event. Because my friend Andre, I talked to her last night. She's supposed to be. I think she's gonna watch the thing. I think she was supposed to go. Was she able to make it? Because she, the one in Hampton, because she was like, "Oh, this is not too far from you," and I'm finally meeting you. That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Jessica, any upcoming events, and where can we find you?
So you can find me on the gram at @IM_Jessica Mitchell. You can also find me on Facebook at I Am Jessica Mitchell. And actually, my website is www.imjessicamitchell.com. So that's where you can find me. And what I actually have coming up this week. So today is Wednesday. My days are a little mixed up, y'all. So this coming Friday, what I have coming up is a free women's health workshop.
Nice.
It's how to stop dieting, to embrace wellness and health, really helping you find your road path to long-term success. So I'm really excited about that. The details are there on Instagram at IM_JessicaMitchell.com. It is a free workshop. Really looking forward to it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be looking forward to that event as well. And Jacqueline, any upcoming events for you? And where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Jacqueline's Love _health. You can also find me on TikTok. I don't do a lot on there, but I'm on there at Jacqueline's Love _health. Well, _ for health. Okay. You can also go to my website, Love for Health. So we're doing LUV, the number 4, health.net. And then you can also find me on Facebook, Love for Health. And what else do I have? Okay, so I think that's all of the handles there. And now you can, what I have coming up. So I had to take a pause on my Zumba classes. They will be starting back, but you got to follow my Instagram or my Instagram, Facebook, or website to see the changes that's taking place with them. But they will be starting back in 3 weeks. So yeah, that's that. And I also have my holistic nutrition program. I do have one more opening. For right now, I have one more opening. So check me out.
Thank you, ladies. So after the live, you can all put there's going to be comments in the under the video. You can drop your Instagram link under the comments, so when people watch it, they can just click on it and find your links to you guys' websites and Instagram. And I'm looking forward to the workshops and to the classes, the Zumba classes, and to the events. Like, I'm excited for you ladies, and let's keep continuing to support each other. Like I said, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Brown Girls Embrace, and subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Brown Girls Embrace. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me. Anybody want to add anything before we close out?
Just I appreciated the opportunity to be here. This was an amazing discussion with this panel. So enjoyed it so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
I second that.
All right, ladies. I'm going to close it out, and then I'm going to talk to you like ladies in a minute.
Okay.
Bye. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.